Russia has been losing on the battlefield, and it's becoming clear that Vladimir Putin is employing a new and cruel strategy in Ukraine. Make millions of civilians suffer by knocking out power, heat, and water as the freezing winter closes in. Russian strikes have destroyed 30% of Ukraine's power stations in about a single week. That's according to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. We saw another barrage of missiles today targeting critical energy infrastructure across the country. This is a thermal power plant in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, hundreds of miles away from the front lines. Just yesterday, Russia unleashed these, a swarm of kamikaze drones to dive bomb energy facilities throughout the city. The World Health Organization is now warning that the coming winter could be brutal for Ukraine and trigger a humanitarian crisis if people are not able to heat their homes. In some areas, every day is already a living hell. Reporter John Sparks from our sister network Sky News is in eastern Ukraine.
In the city of Bakhmut, some days are more difficult than others. Once home to 100,000 people, it's now a military objective in eastern Ukraine. The Russians creep closer every day. And this ambulance must deal with the consequences.
There's smoke at the end of the lane, or possible fire.
We follow the vehicle to the outskirts of the city. The paramedics find a woman lying on the ground. Her chest is bleeding, the tips of her shoes torn off. She calls out to her partner. This neighborhood has been pounded by the Russians, the front line just a few kilometers away. And as the crew treat their patient, another attack begins. We saw burning white phosphorus above us and felt the ground shake from multiple explosions. We ran for the car.
We couldn't stay any longer. We've left the ambulance crew there with a woman suffered what looks like serious injuries. But that area came under attack, possibly from the air, maybe Grab missiles, we're not sure. But we couldn't stay. It just wasn't safe.
This city has been broken, sliced and pummeled in less than a month. Nowhere is safe.
Okay, guys, pick up the speed. Let's go. Pick up the speed.
This car was hit by an artillery shell. The body of the driver consumed by fire. The Ukrainian army has retaken territory to the north and south, but the situation in Bakhmut is different. It's the site of some of the most ferocious fighting in this war. Russian intentions are written on the walls, an exhibition for everyone to see. John Sparks, Sky News in eastern Ukraine.
Women walk past a billboard reading "Citizens, you are free," amid Russia's attack on Ukraine. In the recently retaken town of Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 18, 2022. Clota Kilcoin, Reuters. Local residents line up to receive a meal provided by the World Central Kitchen NGO, amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine, in the town of Kupiansk in Kharkiv region, Ukraine, October 14, 2022. Vyacheslav Ratansky, Reuters. A boy plays on ruins of his grandmother's house, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, in Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 16, 2022. Anastasia Vlasova, Reuters. Local residents Natalia, 59, and her granddaughter Ilona, 9, stand on ruins of their house, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, in Kupiansk, Vzhlavy, Ukraine, October 17, 2022. Vyacheslav Ratensky, Reuters. A man looks down as he pushes his bicycle along the edge of a shelled missing section of bridge featuring the colors of the Russian flag, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine. In the recently retaken town of Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 18, 2022. Clota Kilcoin, Reuters. A Ukrainian artist paints a wall of a building covered with traces of bullets and shrapnel, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, in Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 16, 2022. Vyacheslav Matievsky, Reuters. Fuel tanks are seen damaged by Russian strikes, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, in the recently retaken town of Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 18, 2022. Clota Kilcoin, Reuters. A man walks through a shopping street destroyed by Russian strikes, amid Russia's attack on Ukraine, in the recently retaken town of Kupiansk, Ukraine, October 18, 2022. Clota Kilcoin, Reuters. Reuters. A serviceman of Ukrainian military forces holds a FGM-148 Javelin, an American-made portable anti-tank missile, at a checkpoint, where they hold a position near Kharkiv, on March 23, 2022. Sergei Babak, AFP, Getty Images. The Biden administration has committed more than $17.6 billion in military aid to Ukraine since Russia's late February invasion. The security assistance includes more than 400 Stinger anti-aircraft systems, 8,500 Javelin anti-armor systems, more than 140 plus 155mm howitzers, more than 10,000 grenades, and more than 62,000 rounds of small arms and ammunition. Read the Pentagon's full list of security assistance support here. Amanda Macias. A U.S. Air Force F-16 receives fuel from a KC-135 Stratotanker in support of Operation Inherent Resolve over Iraq, November 8, 2018. U.S. Air Force photo. 2 U.S. Air Force F-16 fighter jets intercepted 2 Russian bombers that were identified operating in Alaska's Air Defense Identification Zone. The Russian aircraft remained in international airspace and did not enter American or Canadian sovereign airspace, said the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. NORAD routinely monitors foreign aircraft movements and, as necessary, escorts them from the IDIZ, the Pentagon wrote in a release. The recent Russian activity in the North American IDIZ is not seen as a threat nor is the activity seen as provocative, the release added. Amanda Macias. Pentagon Press Secretary Air Force Brigadier General Pat Ryder speaks during a news briefing at the Pentagon September 6, 2022 in Arlington, Virginia. Brigadier General Ryder held a news briefing to answer questions from members of the press. Alex Wong, Getty Images. The U.S. takes Russian President Vladimir Putin's reckless comments about the potential use of nuclear weapons seriously and is closely monitoring the situation, the Pentagon said. We are completely ready, Pentagon Press Secretary Air Force Brigadier General Pat Ryder said when asked if the U.S. was prepared if Russia decided to use nuclear weapons. Ryder added that the U.S. had not found cause to change Washington's strategic nuclear posture. He also reiterated that the U.S. assesses that Putin has not yet decided whether to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Amanda Macias. An aerial view shows ships at the anchorage area of the Bosphorus southern entrance in Istanbul. On October 12, 2022. Yashin Akil, AFP, Getty Images. The organization overseeing the export of grain from Ukraine said that more than 350 vessels have left the besieged country under an agreement to reopen ports. The Black Sea Grain Initiative, a deal among Ukraine, Russia, the United Nations and Turkey, reopened 3 Ukrainian ports in August. So far, 7.8 million metric tons of grain and other food products have left Ukrainian ports. Read more about the Black Sea Grain Initiative here. Amanda Macias. Women walk away with their food and drink as people line up in front of a McDonald's restaurant in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv, on October 18, 2022 during reopening of the U.S. fast food giant after the closure following the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yuri Dyashishin, AFP, Getty Images. McDonald's has reopened restaurants in Lviv nearly 8 months after temporarily shuttering them due to the Kremlin's invasion. Lviv is the second Ukrainian city to see the Golden Arches resume service since the war began. In August, the Chicago-based company announced that it would reopen locations in Kyiv and western Ukraine in phases. At that time, McDonald's said it would be implementing enhanced procedures and protocols for the safety of employees and customers. Amelia Lucas. A picture shows a view of the stern of the grain-laden Syrian-flagged ship Laodicea, docked in Lebanon's northern port of Tripoli, on July 30, 2022. A Lebanese prosecutor ordered the seizure of the ship until the investigation is completed, instructing the police to consult the Ukraine embassy after it claimed that the grain cargo was loaded from a region occupied by Russian forces. Fadi El-Masri, AFP, Getty Images. The organization overseeing the export of grain from Ukraine said it has approved 4 vessels to leave the besieged country. The Black Sea Grain Initiative, a deal among Ukraine, Russia, the United Nations and Turkey, said the vessels are carrying 49,000 metric tons of grain and other crops. 2 ships carry